Hello, I should be live right now. Welcome to the next step in my self flagellation. We're talking about Young Jedi Knights, Book 5 and 6 today because, yeah, there's nothing to speak about. And I might be finished in I don't know, 45 minutes or something because, Jesus Christ, these books don't even give me anything to work with. But oh well, we will see. We'll speak about all the details, no matter how little there are. And we shall see what this book is about. You know, I thought about this as well. I don't think Wookiees being force sensitive, and specifically Chewie's nephew, is per se like unbelievable. It's a bit cringe. It's a bit convoluted. But man, if it was the most convoluted thing, I would be so happy. Imagine how good this series could be if the weirdest thing about it was, oh, I guess there's a Wookiee who is a Jedi. Yeah, then again, George, my boy, he says a lot of things. So, oh well. Yeah, sure, have fun with the movie. Of course I do, yeah. Greyholm. Okay, wait a minute. I'll do that right now. Oh wait, did you send it to him? Because whatever. I'm gonna make sure I'll send it to him as well. So there you go. You just did. Okay, yeah, whatever. No big deal. Yeah, let's just start. I mean, we'll get on with the usual. I don't think Greyholm needs to be here for this because, damn it, there's nothing to say. So, the best-selling saga continues. Sure. Darkest Night. Yeah, that's the title of the book. The Darkest Night is in the book, so sure. I really hoped that Darkest Night was like a symbolism metaphor thing, but as we knew from last book, no, Darkest Night is literally a military title. So I guess there you go. Kevin J. Anderson, Rebecca Moesta, New York Times bestselling authors of lightsabers. So yeah, as we've seen, there is there is no advertisement for Jedi Academy trilogy anymore. Wonder why? I don't think at this point people realize that the Jedi Academy trilogy was shit because people still believe it isn't. So I don't know what changed, but I guess maybe they thought, oh, lightsabers, now we really hit the gold here. Eh, I don't know. I guess it's the most structured one because the other ones had always like weird effects going on that I didn't quite understand. And yeah, I think this one has less problems with that. Yeah, I mean, what is there to say? We have Lobaka, I guess, with a red lightsaber, reddish. We have those two weirdos. They look strange. This is this is our resident Darkest Night, or as we would call it in German, the Dark Knight, just the Dark Knight returning. We have those Imperial Guards here, and oh boy, I will have things to say about the Imperial Guards. Yeah, I don't have anything to say. Yeah, Darkest Night. The Darkest Night is in the book. The German title is Rückkehr des dunklen Ritters, which literally translates to Return of the Dark Knight, which is probably the most epic thing about the book. Yeah, that's probably the most comments I will have about an individual thing from this book. So, there it is. And we have our special guest here. Hello, Mr. Greyholm. How are you doing? You are muted, or you have an audio thing going on. So just so you know. This cover spoils the ending of the book because the kind of, but then again, Jedi Under Siege does a different thing again. So, that's the thing. Yeah, Graham. As I said, just so you know, your audio isn't working. I'm not sure if maybe there's a technical thing going on for you. Oh, now I can hear you. How are you doing?
Great. Good and bad. I don't have to wake up early next week, which is nice.
Nice, nice.
I have a lot of deadlines to meet afterwards, which is not so nice.
Mm-hmm.
I had a debate tournament today, which was rigged against us. We got much further than the organizers wanted us to.
It's always good.
And they had to resort to other means to stop us. Went in expecting to be underdogs. We were actually better than most of the other teams, so that was really nice. Welcome surprise.
Yeah.
Um.
Sounds like you had a good
Yeah.
day. So how about I change that?
Well, it was a very tiring 3 days actually.
Ah.
They were like, I have debated 6 rounds in the last 3 days, and today was only one round.
Oh, nice at least. But thankfully you're here.
Wonderful.
Of course, this stream will be filled with suspense and yeah, I have nothing.
Yeah.
If at some point the stream knocks you out and you're asleep, I understand. Like I'm not gonna say anything.
Sure.
I will get it.
If you hear snoring noises, just kick me out.
I will know when it happens. Sure.
Sure.
Yeah, Darkest Night, man. I have nothing more to say. Let's just start with the chapter and go into it. And yeah, expect this to be a very lean review because I think about half of the chapter summaries I've written are one sentence. So yeah,
Well, that is an appropriate reflection of how much effort Kevin put into writing this book.
Yeah, it is quite a talent to write so much yet actually say so little. I think a lot of politicians would blush at his skill. Yeah. Chapter one. Chapter one starts exactly like you would want a Young Jedi Knights chapter to start, which is Jason asking Jaina something related to his fucking stupid crystal snake. He asks her to once again have a look at his cage where he keeps his crystal snakes in because he thinks it wants to break out. Can't we drop this stupid crystal snake? And it's gonna come back again, and that makes me even more mad. But nobody cares about the stupid crystal snake. It's dumb. And
I am willing to bet that Kevin just has a list of stuff that he likes to pull out, and he does so randomly because he just forgets what he's already pulled out. So that explains how many times Jaina has to come up with a new cage for this crystal snake.
To be
Because
honest,
it happens like
yeah,
3 times.
Yeah, like to be honest,
Oh.
I don't want to give him the benefit of the doubt of like having enough skill to keep a list of literally anything. But yeah, that's really the only reason there is because
It's a mental list at least. I remember he
yeah,
did this
sure.
Kickstarter a while back, and he said that he dictates stuff to himself on a recorder while he's on a walk. Like that's how he writes.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that you could get if you like paid a lot for this Kickstarter is an excerpt of one of his walks unedited.
He writes like somebody just said, just keep writing and don't ever think twice about anything. Just put out words and don't put down the pen. That's literally it's like okay, shit, words, things. Doesn't make sense. Shit, move on.
I think his wife
correcting.
should have been credited as an editor on every single one of the books where she was credited as an author.
I think his wife
Because
should have
she had to do
written
so
the
much.
series solo. I think
Agreed.
that would have been.
Hands down. Hands
yeah,
down.
like I don't know, maybe it was a pride thing. Like, damn, your wife is better at your job than you are. That's gotta sting. But I mean, then again, you know, who knows? I'm not gonna judge. I am kind of though, because I had to suffer through these books, and now you people get to share my suffering. Yeah, Jaina, she's sad. Why is she sad? She's sad because, quote, Coral's brainwashing was stronger at the end. And I asked myself, stronger than what exactly? stronger than her one-sided feelings of friendship towards a literal psychopath. Like he tried to kill your father. That was like never, like she never quite acknowledged that he tried to kill her father in front of her. Like she doesn't even care. Like whatever.
So there's this really irritating thing about young Jedi Knights, and I think that you'll find it's probably not just. I know it definitely isn't just this. Like if you read the books, there's in the Young Jedi Knight books, they have a very inconsistent interpretation of what actually happened, and authors usually don't wind up reading the Young Jedi Knights books, Troy aside, and we all know that Troy's interpretations of books are. Let's just say that he doesn't interpret them.
The thing is, I'm actually look. I know a few things that he adopts from Young Jedi Knights, at least like characters and like general things, not the details. I am willing to believe that what Troy Denning interprets into these characters and these stories is 100% congruent with what Kevin imagined them to be. I have no trouble really believing that. Like I'm not here to give Troy Denning more olive branches than he deserves, but that's kind of something I would give him. I mean, I'll see. I don't know yet, but
I think I'll still refute that one. But Troy aside, if okay, like let's say someone were to do what I did and rent New Jedi Order first, maybe even years before. The impression that you get of what happened in the Young Jedi Knights books is incredibly different from the Young Jedi Knights books themselves because they aren't even internally consistent, as we are now slowly realizing.
Yep. First of all,
You
true,
should push it off. But
maybe Kevin was just an intelligent financial,
that's
because 2 paychecks. Yeah, fair enough. Maybe that was it, and if
a good
so, I
point.
can respect it. But I agree. Without spoiling, just like tell it as a yes or no thing. Would you say that the framing that NJO gives the events of Young Jedi Knights is more logical than the books themselves?
Oh,
Because
so much more.
yeah, I tend to believe that that's the case.
And this extends even to Qual. Well, he is a cameo, and
Okay.
I first knew who he was from that cameo. So when I read Heirs to the Force for the first time, I went, "Wait a minute, have I actually read this book before? Because I know exactly what happens."
Yeah.
And then some bits seemed a bit different, and then I read Shadow Academy and went, "Oh, hang on, I kind of know that this no, something's not right." Yeah, you get the idea. And for Shadow Academy, it wasn't as apparent because it wasn't references, but like you get the general idea. It happened with a lot of other things as well, in all sorts of different Young Jedi Knights books. And I think I know what happened. I've heard of this.
And it
In New
made more
Jedi Order
sense
or
than whatever
Legacy of
I'm
the
reading right
Force
now.
because they were kids. Even the Legacy of the Force interpretations made more sense.
I very much believe so. I can actually believe that.
Oh my gosh, what have I become?
Yeah, there you go, man. You've come full circle. The Kevin hatred trumps the Denning hatred. That's
No,
that.
no, it doesn't.
I mean, I only have negative experiences with one of the two of them, so that's my goal for now, until we eventually reach the
Oh
Denning
yeah,
versus Force.
don't
Then
worry.
it
No,
might.
you'll hate it in Star by Star.
Oh yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I know some characters. So yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you'll
and
hate it
that's
setting
chapter
by
1.
Star by Star.
Yep. Chapter 1. Chapter 2. Oh, I actually have a few notes here, so well, there you go. So yeah, the meme goes on. For me, the meme is characters are always present, unless the story needs them to not be present. Then there's a stupid reason why they can't be. In this case, there are quote problems in the Rim worlds. So Leia sends both Han and Luke to look out for what's going on. And my question: is the New Republic aware of the concept of scouts? Like, scouts are a thing. You don't like imagine like in World War II they sent, I don't know, General like Field Marshal Montgomery like out there just like looking at people alone, like, hey, what's going on here? Like General Patton or something. Hey, like Biden's going
Oh
on
yeah.
a scouting mission to Afghanistan alone, and there's just nobody there. It's like, hey, yeah, I'll have a look, see what's going on. Like,
Well, it's funny to compare this against the Old Republic because the Jedi were in decline, the Republic was in decline, the New Republic's so much better, and yet you have Han and Luke just being sent off to random missions when you now have a Jedi Order, you now have a military, you now have a functioning government, and yet the Old Republic would just send a bunch of Jedi and maybe Antarian Rangers or some other scouts, the Republic military, or in the Clone Wars time, maybe a battalion of clones with the Jedi, and they'd go solve whatever problem was happening. Even Dave Filoni got that right.
Yeah, Dave Filoni got that more right than Kevin, which is a weird thing to say, but I think even I have come full circle at this point.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe I'll become this Filoni guy, the Thanos meme. Perhaps I've judged it too harshly. Yeah, because I mean, Kevin doesn't quite measure up to the Filoni standard, however minuscule it may be. So yeah, no, Kevin. Everything leads back to Kevin. It's literally.
Hang on, wait, no. But you forget that this is just one thing, because Kevin came up with blob races. Dave Filoni still has no good ideas.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. Once I realized, I memed the blob races in the beginning because that's like the low hanging fruit of JAT criticism. But then I realized the blob races are the best part of the JAT, and that made me even sadder. I was like, I kind of want to go back to low hanging fruit. I miss those times.
I have to say that even Kevin flailing around is still better than Filoni filler trademarked.
I can handle filler better than shit. But I understand what you mean.
No, I'm saying in ideas, not execution.
Oh.
Even coming up with alien species or cultures. I mean, I'll take blob races over whatever those weird furry.
Yeah, I mean, there's
short people. Well, okay, that doesn't narrow it down that much.
Yeah, there's
only just a lot of that.
There's enough weird ideas and stuff. That would be right up Kevin's or Denning's alley. I mean, we had the little mind control bugs as well. They are.
Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah, I like Barry's Offie. Thank you, Filoni. That was always what I wanted to say. But yeah,
she definitely was a kid. You see,
she was a kid.
She was a kid with Ahsoka. She definitely was not like Anakin's age or anything.
No,
or Knight
never
at the time.
She wasn't a Padawan while he was one. And they didn't get along well because they were the same age. No, that never happened.
Yeah.
Oh well, I digress. Yeah, Yavin. I'm so mad at this. Yeah, Yavin apparently gets shield generators, which in isolation sounds like a good idea. Like that's something you would kind of want from the beginning. But sure,
one would have imagined that they were already in place.
No, they get them new. That's the thing. Like they newly install them.
I know.
Which, like, yeah, and I can't even give him the grace of finally you've realized they need this because he'll fuck that up as well. But we'll talk about that later. But Luke doesn't even want the shield generators because, quote, his students can fight without that, and it would be foolish of the Shadow Academy to underestimate them.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, first of all, remember that. Second of all, the Shadow Academy has one thing you don't, which is ships. God. They have ships. They don't need to fight your students. They can bomb the fuck out of them.
Hasn't Luke already had his academy bombed once before?
Yeah,
I think he'd kind of remember that one. It was
like twice
it was pretty bad. Like there was this one student who kind of died when a superstar destroyer called the Knight Hammer was kind of bombing his whole place, but no.
Like yeah.
Well,
like please, Luke, for the love of God, don't be an asshole. Don't be an idiot. Like
no way. This is evidence that Ahsoka traveled through time and removed Callista. So in the Night Hammer never even bombed Yavin 4 and Dolce 82 just died randomly.
I mean, if we if we had a new EU story where that's the story, Ahsoka evaporates Callista from the timeline, I have a newfound love for Ahsoka. I'm open
Oh,
to
this
that
is
idea.
good.
But
I would take that.
yeah,
That sounds wonderful.
I would be open to have discussions about Ahsoka again if that were to
For
happen.
legal purposes, and if Brendan is watching, I am completely joking.
I'm not. Brennan knows I'm not. But yeah, there you go. I'm like, you have no navy, bruh. Please. There's no need for them to start a ground assault. Of course they'll do that anyway because they're stupid, but there's actually no need. So like calm down for a second. Oh yeah, another thing. There's actually that's the only Jason joke I've actually written down because I think it was at least because it was so monumentally stupid that I felt like I needed to comment on this one. And Graham, you
Which
might
one
have
was it?
not even heard of that one. I probably haven't mentioned it in front of you, so you
Okay.
you can live guess right here. The question is the following: what do Javas have that no one else in the galaxy has?
Oh, I remember this. You reminded me of it the other day.
Oh yeah, true.
Jawa babies.
Yeah, look, there's this fine line of jokes that you need to cross because the thing with jokes is that they sometimes they somewhat reflect reality in a way, but they present it in a way where it's funny. This
Yeah.
thing
Jokes
is like,
kind of have to be funny.
yeah, exactly. Like if you're just like if you make a joke and it's just like the things that you're telling aren't even they don't even make sense, then it's not really funny usually. At least that's
Yeah.
my experience because
But
it sounds just made up. This
this
though,
is even worse than those people who just like say something but add a profanity and then people laugh.
yeah, exactly.
This is somehow worse.
Yeah,
I did
this is
not think that
just
humor had a new low until I read this again and went, "Oh my gosh!"
there's always a lower low. And this is just like I mean, this is a fact, sure, yet nobody else has baby Jawas in the galaxy other than Jawas. Sure, yeah, that's not a lie. I'm like,
I thought you were quoting Tenel Ka with "that was a fact,"
that was a fact.
which I guess is what she would have said if, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's factually
that would
true.
have been her response.
Yeah. And I mean, she would have been correct as well, and that would have been the interaction. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm kind of okay with Jason to die now. Like that's true. I I think at some point when we reach the whole Kaidos arc, I think I'll try to collect all these pieces of information, these small pieces of like, this is how that character treated him in this situation. And I'm gonna try to make a case for why Kaidos makes sense based on those things. Like people probably gassed him up to believe that he's actually like a funny human being, and at some point you will realize, wait, I'm not funny. People just people just were making fun of me. Like, yeah, that was a funny joke. Haha. Like poor Jason, man. Why does he have to tell such shitty jokes?
Well,
Uh,
on behalf of the expanded universe,
uh-huh.
this is why we have something called New Jedi Order.
Mhm.
It saves his character completely.
Yeah, because right now, the most compelling
Yeah,
thing,
it's not looking good for him. It's
yeah,
not looking good for him.
if we look at the timeline, the most compelling thing this character has done is talk to a dragon in Crystal Star, as far as I'm concerned. So,
And
like,
so
there's not a
this is
lot
why
there.
Crystal Star is the best adult novel in the Bantam era, short of maybe a Sackville also novel.
I'd have to think about that. I'd probably disagree because, of course, you're a bigger fan of Crystal Star than I am. But
Yeah.
I mean, Jason-wise, I mean, yeah, there's not a lot of competition.
It is Jason's best appearance.
Yeah, sure, that's for sure.
Yeah. I,
Um,
I I think we can all agree that the Crystal Star was the best appearance of Jason Solo.
yeah, and I mean of Jaina as well. Like Jaina's not looking
Uh,
all
Jaina
too
was
well either.
okay in the Corellian trilogy, even if she did joke around a bit.
Yeah, but that was like I don't know.
It was fine. It was just a bit weird, but it kind of makes sense in refuting certain claims that some people have been espousing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, we have another scene, and that to me that seemed like it was an editing mistake. Like it has to be, or like some I don't know, because for
Mhm.
some reason Anakin makes a hologram. He records a hologram message for Tenel Ka and explains to her how she can braid her hair in like her traditional way that she usually does
Oh,
with
yes.
only one arm and like put all kinds of Dathomirian horror accessories in there. Like he's giving her basically a tutorial like how to do that. And
That was
I mean,
not an editing mistake.
sure, yeah. I mean, I was just like,
Unfortunately.
yeah, I was just like speaking out of my ass for that one because
Um,
I'm like the scene is kind of sweet, I guess, but it's very random, and I'm like,
they never interact. They literally never interact.
yeah, like why isn't this Jason? Like if
They
you
don't
want to
even interact in Star by Star.
yeah, if you want to advance, Jason and Tenel Ka becoming somewhat romantically involved, like as far as teenagers can be, wouldn't this be the scene of Jason explaining it to her or like helping her? Why is
Well,
Anakin doing this? That's not,
because you see, Jason's the funny one, and Anakin solves puzzles because.
I guess, yeah. Yeah, sure, but like like
I know.
oh,
I know.
so
I know.
do you want to tell me, Pico, that the episode that Kaidos and Tahiri go through is Jason's revenge? Like post-mortem?
No!
Is Kaidos justified for doing his his little bro's ex because
No!
he tried to rizz up his girl? Damn, we're reaching new lows of Star Wars interpretation, I feel like.
Yeah,
Ugh.
move on, please.
I mean I mean that just came out of nowhere right now. I actually have to write this down in my notes because it's so ridiculous of a thought, but it's kind of funny as well. Like just maybe that's just me, but um,
Uh,
how do you feel about that, Graham? Give us your input on my interpretation, right?
that's
I I thought
that's
same.
all my input. Yeah.
I understand. I mean that's the amount of input I'd usually expect towards a Kevin J. Anderson novel, but yeah, that's all there is to say, I guess. Um, he was playing the long game. It's like, all right, you little fucker, I'll remember. It was the Telltale Games meme. He Jason will remember that, and he waited and waited and waited until his chance was there, and boom, he struck like a viper the moment nobody was paying attention. Yeah, and the kids they accompany Loey to Kashyyyk to help his sister. So his sister, Loey's sister, has gotten increasingly isolated and also reckless since the apparent death of their their friend. It's her friend, and it's also kind of his love interest. Um, yeah, Raba is the name of the friend, and she is
Oh
gonna
yeah,
have
huh?
she's gonna have her
Rotating
trial.
character.
I I've heard of the name, I think. Um, she's gonna have her trial of maturity or whatever the name is exactly, and
Yep.
Loey wants to be there. The thing is, it's kind of understandable that A, Loey wants to be there, and B, the kids want to join him. But didn't we make a point out of, you know, like emphasizing, hey, this Shadow Academy is like basically guaranteed to attack, so we
Yep.
like really need to train.
I know exactly why this happened
Oh, why?
because they have already visited Jason and Jaina's place on Coruscant. That was the whole point of number 3.
Yeah,
Um, they have I mean, they're in the academy the whole time. They're in Luke's place. They went to Lando's latest place that one time,
yeah.
and they go again in book 14 because Kevin felt like it. No, sorry, 13, not 14. And just in the meantime, because they kind of already visited Tenel Car's place in number 4,
Yeah.
of they have one left, and therefore they have to visit Loey's house because they were kids.
They were in fact kids. I have to agree. Um, yeah. I mean, if that was the plan, couldn't you have just like swapped around a few books so that so it
Yeah,
doesn't?
he couldn't have waited because they were kids and they were impatient to go to each other's houses.
They were kids. They were kids. I have to agree with that. So there's no arguments from me anymore. That's like really all there is to know. Yeah, Raba's definitely dead. That's what I've heard. Wink, wink.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
yeah, I'm like, okay, the last book made a. Oh, was it the last book? I think maybe. So one of the books made a point of like saying, hey, there's kind of an attack and incoming death and destruction. But yeah,
Yes.
sure, go to Kashyyyk.
Well, let's just exactly
Mm,
because
yeah,
you see they had to make it kind of ominous
I
because
guess.
the next book had to be called Darkest Night, so they needed to make sure that it was
I,
dark or
I,
soon to be dark.
I,
Because
I can't
foreshadowing,
imagine. I
the
can't imagine
shadows
I
are dark.
actually hoped for Darkest Night to be like just some metaphor. No, Darkest Night is literally a thing. That made me so mad. I was so pissed off when I saw that. Like, oh, Darkest Night is actually like a military rank that you can get. Cool, I guess. Just
It's
put it.
not even like the Dark Knight.
No,
That was an objectively cool name.
yeah, because it's not like a rank in the JCPD or something, GCPD. It's like
Yeah,
it's just a nickname. But
imagine if in like the Nolan Batman movies, the Darkest Night. Okay, the Dark Knight was the name of like the top guy in the League of Shadows,
yeah.
and
Like
then because Bruce Wayne kills Ra's al Ghul, he's like, "Oh, now I am the Dark Knight."
yeah, or like Alfred being, "Sir, you're a knight, but you're quite dark for a knight, so I'm a Christ in you, the Dark Knight." It's so stupid.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a fine line there between cool and edgy and nonsensical, and
oh
this is
yeah,
edgy and nonsensical.
yep,
Um,
yep.
Edgy can be cool, guys. You just need to know how to do it. Chapter 3. Jason. Yeah, so Jason has a talk with Tenelka, and he's explaining to her why he's funny because Tenelka, quote, just might not get the subtlety of his well thought out jokes, end quote. Like, this has
I know. Um,
it
well,
has to be
I
like a
so
test.
happen to have taken a this like whole summary sheet of Jason's jokes.
Mm.
So for the record, let's summarize a few of them. If you'll permit me.
I'm really tempted to not to, but if you make it quick. I hate those jokes so much.
Um, do you know? No, you know why TIE fighters scream in space? Because they miss their mothership.
Oh yeah, no, we
What
had Pico
goes
read.
ha 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 thump? A droid laughing its head off.
No, we had Pico read those out. Don't make me suffer again. Pico always keeps track
What
of
does an Imperial Star Destroyer wear to a formal occasion? A bow
always.
tie.
Uh,
How many thermal detonators does it take to blow up an Imperial weapons depot? All of them.
ha
Where
ha
does the
ha
full grown Bantha sit? Anywhere he wants to.
ha.
Oh, and one of the worst. Buzz Buzz.
Oh
Who's
yeah.
there? No, it was Tenelka going, ah, who is there? And then Jason goes, dismay. Dismay
Yeah.
who? This may not seem funny to you, but I'm hoping you'll at least smile.
Oh damn, Graham, it looks like you're having connection difficulties. Whoops. What happened? Hello? Hello? No, I'm just joking. Yeah. Um, this is a teenager, by the way. Like any teenage friend you have, like as a teenager who actually cares about you, would beat you up for like seriously, not like
Hmm.
ironically, haha, or like seriously telling these jokes as an attempt to make people laugh, unironically.
Hang on. Did did Kevin just kind of like invent the prototype of the these nuts jokes?
No, these nuts is funny. Like,
Yeah, but he
kind of
invented
funny.
the unfunny prototype and
True, yeah.
put it in a knock knock joke.
Yeah, kind of.
No way.
Kevin invented a lot of things. Most of them are really shit. The rest of them are really, really shit. So yeah, I wouldn't put it past him. It sounds like it to me.
Oh
Um,
my god.
but yeah,
My mind has been opened.
yeah, and he goes on. He's not done yet. Quote: He tried to
Oh no.
this is freely translated, but what he says is basically quote: He tried to explain to her why silly responses to serious sounding questions can trigger laughter, or how unexpected incidents during lunch can be amusing. Like, if this
This feels
character never
insulting to
gets
autistic
characterized
people.
like this again, I will be a happy man. Like, this is shit. This is not. This is like barely toddler level. Like,
Hang on. Can you define again?
what can I define? What?
When you say again, do you mean
Oh
in
yeah, I
Young
mean,
Jedi Knights or
after young, I'm aware that this will be his young Jedi Knights, you know, characterization throughout. So after this system, but ideally, if this after this book, but of course, I know that's not gonna happen.
yeah? But sorry.
No, it's all right, man. You have no fault. Bro, yeah. So there's another thing that happens, and I don't quite understand why. So they're gonna fly in the Shadow Chaser to Kashyyyk, but so a critter is a rodent. A rodent built a nest in the Shadow Chaser,
Mm-hmm.
and it used parts from the shield generator to build its nest, like cables or whatever. And then they fly through an iron storm, not iron like the element, but iron, and which of course only can happen in hyperspace, and it causes them to
Yeah,
violently.
right.
Yeah, of course, because he said so. Um, and it causes them to violently drop out of hyperspace. Then they repair everything, and they keep flying. And their navigation computer is, and their ability to just locate themselves on like maps or whatever is broken now. And what the hell just happened? Like, maybe I'm no engineer. Our resident engineer is busy for the time. If you like
Oh,
start to pull out cables from a machine, which is kind of important, I'd assume there would be like maybe like a red blinking light, telling you, hey, there's something wrong there. Like, hey, perhaps your shield generator is kind of broken.
yep.
Like, is there no way? Is there no warning that your shield generator isn't working? Like, I know that there is. Like, this is not even a question where it's like, you gotta interpret it, but common sense will tell you that it has to be. Otherwise, no. Like, we know that there's warnings when your shield generators don't work. So I don't understand what was happening right here. It's like,
I
I guess,
genuinely don't even remember this either. So, yeah.
yeah, I guess. I don't know. And it's also, of course, it's good to have some unpredictable astronomical occurrence that can happen at any time in hyperspace, and also at any place in hyperspace. And you can't do really anything about it. It seems like it can destroy everything at a very convenient. Like, imagine a Thrawn's campaign just failed because there
Mm-hmm.
was such a storm. Like, all ships just get destroyed or something. Like, well, I guess we failed now.
Thrawn returns from the unknown regions, and
Yeah,
then his
he
ship
returned to
just gets hit in Ironstorm because a critter started chewing his shield generator. Um, and so Thrawn never got to do his campaign.
the thing is, Iron Storm. Like, as far as I know, like, it seems like they would penetrate the shields anyway. So there's not even any
An
reason
Iron
to.
Storm sounds like something that would disable their shields
Yeah,
instantly and then wipe them out, let alone from hyperspace, assuming that that can somehow happen.
yeah, like, not, it's weird that I'm starting to try justify things with TCW, but remember the malevolence thing, like ion cannon, and it disables the technology. That seems to me like a
Yeah.
reasonable interpretation of what it somewhat would look like. That's kind of what I imagine here. And the way it's described, I think, tells me that a shield generator wouldn't really help.
Well,
So I don't.
if we, I can't believe I'm doing this. If we cast our minds back to TCW season 7, what happens when you have a problem with something like a shield generator or hyperdrive, and you have to drop out of hyperspace? What are the consequences of that? You can, like start to crash into a planet, for instance.
Yeah, sure.
That definitely can't happen. Yeah.
Hello.
Ridiculous number of contrivances, yeah?
Hello.
We have the Darkest Night TM here with us today. I'm very honored.
Wonderful.
Yeah, we just had a rodent destroy the shields of the whatever the name was of the ship, and that's how they
Comments,
crashed into it.
resident engineer?
Yeah, resident engineer. If something starts chewing at your cables, is there like going to be a warning like, hey, your machine thingy is not working anymore?
Probably. If
One would think, one would hope.
yeah,
Yeah, perhaps. I
it's
don't
like
know.
a vital thing, and there's an issue with it.
Yeah.
I would say it probably would have a light, at least a light. You know,
Like you're kind of gonna be dead if it's not there. And of course, thankfully, there's an ion storm, which can happen at literally any moment at any time
In hyperspace.
in any place in hyperspace. So that's kind of lucky. I'm not even sure if this had any actual impact on the rest of the plot, though.
Oh no!
No.
It's just to fill up this chapter because they just show up at Kashyyyk right
Yeah.
away.
Like
It was only so that they could have their ship fixed in Kashyyyk, because.
But they were gonna go to Kashyyyk anyway.
But that doesn't change the fact that the ship needed to be fixed, because.
True, of course. How could I forget?
They needed their fix. They just needed the ship fixed.
Yep.
Of course they did. How could they go to Kashyyyk and not get the ship fixed?
I hate this. Chapter 4. Yeah, that's when I realized, Darkest Night is an actual rank in the Shadow Academy, and that's when I determined this book is a 0.1 out of 10, and I was like, next, please, gone. Okay, whatever.
Zach.
Yeah, Zack. Zack is the Darkest Night now, and he gets a black cape as a present because black clothes, as we know, are evil. Man.
Luke definitely wasn't wearing a mostly black outfit in Return of the Jedi.
No, never. Didn't
Inside white bit aside, he definitely was not wearing all black in Return of the Jedi.
Nope. I mean, he was pretty evil, of course, right? He saved the galaxy, so I know. Yeah.
It's almost like he joined the Dark Empire.
Please don't ruin it. Anyway, yeah, the Shadow Academy has a plan, and that plan, oh boy, remember that plan because it's going to be rendered useless in one paragraph in the next book. But we'll talk about it anyway. They will attack Kashyyyk because yeah.
Because
I told you in DMs that they're on Windows Me and Kashyyyk has Windows 98, so they got to upgrade, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you gotta step up the game. I mean, that's just how it goes. So, okay, so to frame this, for some retarded reason, the computers of the New Republic get built on Kashyyyk. So they want to go to Kashyyyk and get information on how those computers work, and then be able to, in a future fight, send incorrect signals to the New Republic because they understand how their computers work.
which does not make sense.
Of course, it doesn't make sense.
I would like to add that the portrayal of Kashyyyk is ridiculously inconsistent.
You mean it's weird that there are full-on factories on top of trees? That's weird to you? I don't know. Doesn't sound weird to me.
Yeah, that wasn't the weirdest part, actually.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They keep saying, "Oh, Kashyyyk is a biotech place, right?" And
oh yeah,
yet, why are they producing computer chips if they're about biotech?
Because
because the Bantam era is very consistent, you see, and it makes sense. And
You're just a
That
hater.
explains everything.
it
My
explains
mind has been
everything, and we
blown.
definitely need no Del Rey 19-book series to make sense of, like, New Jedi Order sounds like the. That's kind of what I remember. When people speak about Crisis for the DC, it's like this is a mess, and we kind of need to figure out how exactly things work here. So let's just make this thing. At least that's from what I've heard.
I
About
probably shouldn't tell you this now, but they
don't.
actually
then
considered
no.
axing everything from Bantam
Oh,
Not true.
when Norway bought
Incorrect.
it. Really?
It was
they don't axe the good things.
no. So that's actually a common misconception. What their idea was that they were gonna just go in a completely different direction, which is kind of what they did do, but like with no one coming over from Bantam era. But
Yes, and they would just ignore the Bantam era.
no, they weren't gonna ignore it per se. Like it would still be canon, it would still be referenced.
Reframe it would
Okay.
probably be the correct term. Like,
Interesting.
put it in a place
then.
where it doesn't seem nonsensical. Like, when I listen to people at least speak about NJO seems to be like what the Bantam era tried to be but failed to be.
Yes.
Like, that's kind of the feeling I get. You know, authors, they have their own little spin, they have their characters, but it's an actually like consistent story, mostly at least a consistent story. Whereas Bantam, I'm sorry, I really tried to be a bit more generous towards Bantam, but I don't see it really. Like, but oh well.
Honestly, I think New Jedi Order went further than that.
Oh yeah, probably. But I think like conceptually, that's what I think.
Conceptually, that was I think conceptually that's what they wanted, but they wound up making it a completely consistent series. Small anomalies here and there aside.
Yeah, exactly. So what's retarded with the fact that the New Republic builds computers on Kashyyyk? Well, like, why Kashyyyk? Really, look, I get that we don't. I mean, this is prequels, so maybe that isn't fair. But in the prequels, like everything was on Coruscant. Jedi Order was on Coruscant. Probably like very important factories were on Coruscant, or like Coruscant.
Coruscant and Corellia.
Exactly.
In the core anyway. So places like Eriadu that are like these
in the general
tech
area,
places with factories.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be a place that literally doesn't have factories and that was
why wouldn't this be on
labor
Corellia with the actual ships being built?
Yeah. You'd kind of think that's more sensible. Like, it's actually not that stupid to have things on Coruscant. It's actually kind of smart. I would say that, like, the Jedi Order as it exists right now, if I had the choice between Yavin 4 and Coruscant all the way. Like, this is a planet that's, like, at least in theory, the most secure place in your faction. So you might as well try. I get it, like, oh, we want to be in touch with nature and whatnot, but it sucks. It's really shit. And like, I don't know why high up in the trees we need to have computer factories. But I guess that's a decision
that didn't exist in the time of the Empire, I might add. So the New Republic actually had to invest a ton of money to build these factories on Kashyyyk.
You want to tell me the Empire didn't see the value in building computers on Kashyyyk, but just instead took the Wookiees and made them do things? That sounds very impractical.
That is truly mind-blowing.
Yeah.
It's not like the Empire has millions of millions of star systems. I can't remember the number. Whatever.
I'm like, and then I thought, like, okay, Kashyyyk. So Kashyyyk is like fortified as hell, right?
No, of course not.
Of course not.
One would hope it was,
because
especially after the Empire used it for slave labor. But
like, I mean, I'll always remember that first level of Force Unleashed. Like,
that
would be enough reason. That would be enough reason.
That was
and like, of course, the Wookiees are gonna be stupid furry monsters always when it's needed, but they'll be like geniuses when that's needed as well.
Greyholm, do you by any chance know when Trandosha was put in the Kashyyyk system? Because that would be two very important Septian planets there with no New Republic presence.
I don't actually know, no.
That's a very good point. I don't know, but let me see if I can find
It
it.
must have been a long
I
time ago.
suspect Western Games.
I
I strongly
it sounds
suspect
like a
Western
Western
Games.
Games thing because it's really stupid that it is there in the first place. But
And I guess it must have been a long time. I mean, if we want to count SOTOR, because I think like the slave master slave relationship that Trandoshans and Wookiees have, I think that's mentioned in the game as well.
yeah.
So it's like
Lore-wise,
an old
it's
thing.
Empire
it's totally
Strikes Back novelization was when Trandosha was first mentioned.
Empire Strikes Back, really? Well, that's when the
I
point.
guess-
Mentioned. We don't know about the same system, but
Yeah,
because Bosk was there probably. So that's
exactly. So if it was mentioned in the Empire Strikes Back novelization, I would just postulate that it
Western Games.
was. Yeah, exactly. Western Games.
Yeah. Yeah. So that place is there. It has, of course, no military presence to speak of. And I'm like, I wondered. It seemed to be like the computers only get built there. Look, I have no clue about computers, but I was like, so do they get programmed somewhere else? Like, well, I didn't understand it, but it's like, okay, to me, it makes kind of no sense that they are there because it's a forest planet that is unarmed and vulnerable. Yeah, but of course, the Shadow Academy knows that the kids are going to Kashyyyk because, quote, thankfully, Coral listens to all communication between Yavin 4 and the main world. It's like, that's, of course, very useful. As soon as you need people to listen to your communication, that's when it's possible. I'm like, they still don't want to abduct the kids because that'd be too high profile. Like, oh, that they are very important people. But like you want to murder them, which I guess you think is gonna turn out better for you. But yeah,
well, the New Republic doesn't have scouts, as you said earlier in the stream.
true.
But what are they gonna do?
That's actually fair. Yeah. What the thing is, the Shadow Academy believes that they can do something, which the Shadow Academy gives the New Republic its theoretical due diligence of like expecting them to be capable of anything, which they're not. Like Coral had more expectations of the New Republic than they had. So, but yeah, yeah, Zach cries a river. Quote, speaking about Jaina and Jason, their friendship ended once the twins went to the academy and left Zach behind in his miserable life in the underworld of Coruscant. I'm never gonna get tired of saying this. You refused their help explicitly. You didn't want it. Stop crying about it. Like, no teenager is so narcissistic that they're gonna refuse help but also cry about no help.
Cry your little bitch tears.
Yeah, like this guy is 18 at this point, like almost 18. Like, Jesus Christ. Man, yeah, what can I say? Oh yeah, he also thinks about himself, quote, his chances of a bright future used to be slim. That's factually incorrect. You refused help. You had probably the brightest future of all people in the New Republic in front of you because you were friends with the prince and the princess, so kind of, you could have gone places, but you didn't want to.
People would have literally killed him to be in that place.
Yeah. Oh well. And yeah, they also want to get the Shadow Chaser back because Quantum. Yeah, this chapter was when I realized.
Of course,
Quantum. If that doesn't tell you everything, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, and at this point I realized, yeah, this book's Jova, man. It was so Jova. But yeah, let's just continue on. Chapter 5. I have one sentence. The kids and Chewie are in Kashyyyk. They arrive.
Oh, you made it longer. I went the crew land on Kashyyyk. I didn't even put a period at the.
you were even more compact. There you go. Chapter 6. The kids kind of practice the Force, I guess, and Syrah. I have no context, but I think Syrah is Loi's sister, right?
Yep.
She doesn't want to work in a factory, and that's it.
She also resents the Jedi because Loi's a Jedi. I don't actually know why. It's not very clear. Right, no, because we have to pretend she has an arc at the end where she likes, I want to stand.
Oh yeah.
So we got to repeat that very interesting arc that hasn't been done ever. Thank God. Chapter 7. Jaina also she also still considers Zack her friend, and the thing is, that's what I realized. Like Jaina has a very screwed up view of what friendship constitutes, and I'm sure her romantic life will be much more wholesome than that. Like she has very weird connections to male friends, quote unquote, throughout these books. We have Zack and
He
Coral.
is already bug nuts.
Yeah, and her other friend is Coral. Like, I don't know what Hans screwed up. Probably something along the way, I guess. But this is not a normal way of, thinking about friendship. But I guess there you go. Oh,
by the way,
ridiculous,
I just found out Trandosha is mentioned by name for the first time, not in Empire Strikes Back. Those Trandoshans.
Yeah, of course.
It was in Kathy Tier's short story in Tales of the Bounty Hunters.
Okay.
Oh,
The Tale of Boss.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense.
So there's a good time. There's a pretty good chance that she actually came up with that.
Could be, yeah.
Which is still before this book. Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
Who cares, right? Another thing, and I almost didn't want to believe it, but then again, it fits perfectly. Import and export, those are things that, of course, exist in Star Wars as well. And so you might think, a place like Kashyyyk, what might Kashyyyk import from other planets? As we learn, they imported banthas from Tatooine.
I wanted to die laughing when I heard that. When I read that.
Yeah, of course, I remember the banthas from that movie I watched as a child.
I definitely remember the Little Lost Bantha Cubs stories that
the
kids kept being read when they were kids because
in the holiday special, it implied that they had bantha meat,
which to me makes more sense than this. But yeah,
they import bantha meat. Yes, maybe they just really like bantha meat.
Yeah.
Not impossible.
That's the stir whip stir thing.
Like,
exactly.
You know how banthas are like pretty big. Where exactly do they fit? Like they're still living in trees, right? So,
they're walking around on the platforms.
Sure, yeah. I would like if to imagine like a bantha just walking around there, and it just maybe falling down into the forest. It's kind of funny to imagine that. I don't know why. Maybe I hate those banthas for no reason at all. Yeah, military things happen. So the New Republic, it started to modernize its Y-wings because they need all kinds of weapons, I guess. Jaina now, because of those Y-wings, thinks that Coral and the Second Imperium would think twice about attacking them.
Why are we modernizing Y-wings when we have U-wings and K-wings?
Because we need all the weapons we have.
Okay.
Is that not enough of a reason?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
okay. It's a very lovely answer, and it's because they need to sell action figures to Jason and Jaina.
Oh, true.
Yeah. And I remember the Y-wings from that movie I watched. Of course, that's also important to.
I have to say that Matt Wilkins is perhaps more of a genius than we thought this whole time, because we can answer so many issues in Star Wars with the simple 3 words: they were kids.
Yeah, at one point in time, these characters we've been following were actually younger than they are now. So
that
I know it's mind-boggling how much we can just hand wave away by saying that they were kids.
It's
almost like a magic wand.
Like, discourse about these books kind of remind me. Maybe Pico, you've seen that, like on the EFAP Clips channel. There was like this guy who defended Rise of Skywalker, and the beginning of his defense was, okay, just imagine that this was the movie that you wanted to watch, and maybe you're gonna like it. It's like, I kind of feel this way about those books. Like, hey, maybe just imagine that this is.
If you just pretend
Imagine
these
that
issues
you
don't
wanted
exist,
to see them as kids, and
Yeah.
yes,
Like, if you actually just pretend that there aren't.
they aren't stupid.
Yeah, then they aren't, because. Yeah. Also, I don't understand why Jaina would think that the Second Imperium is now afraid of them. They literally attacked Coruscant with 0 casualties. There are 0 casualties on their assault on Coruscant. Nobody died. Not even an injury. Like, not a scratch.
Oh, quick addendum to my thing.
Uh-huh.
K-wings were not invented yet because Black Fleet didn't come out by the time this book came out. But E-wings is still.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
E-wings are still fair game.
Yep. Oh well, whatever. As you might have known, the New Republic is always in a financial crisis when the plot needs it to happen. So maybe that was the reason. Maybe they had no money because yeah, I mean, sure. Yeah, the kids then get a tour through the factory. I want to remind you, this book series is called Young Jedi Knights, right?
Yeah.
We get okay, good. They
because
get
they were kids.
They were kids. They were indeed not adult yet, so that's true. And they get a chip so they can repair the Shadow Chaser. So that's it. That was like the whole purpose of the Iron Storm. I don't know. It's like it sounded like, okay, this is a setup for some payoff later, but it doesn't even. It's not even a dumb setup for a dumb payoff. It's just nothing. Like
Kevin's trying to relate to the actual kids,
maybe.
because it's like those field trips that some schools bring you on, and then like maybe you go on a Yakult factory tour, and then they give you something at the end.
I guess. And of course, that would be a computer chip that's fully functional and for
Yep.
military purposes.
Now I've noticed that Kevin really likes people to just hand over these free little upgrades every so often.
How else?
Especially for MTD.
Oh.
It's like you get a reward. Well done.
Because,
XP points plus 100.
To be fair, how else would the rest of the plot happen? You know, that's something to consider. Yeah. Chapter 8. Oh boy, my notes are kind of dated already. So supposedly, Creamy Sheaf arrives, but he wants to be alone. So nobody from the Shadow Academy is actually able to see him. I'm like, so I was just thinking, so literally Luke could be this guy right now, and they wouldn't know.
Yes.
Because
that seems like an excellent troll that Luke should have done.
Yeah, he was just fucking with Brackus this whole time.
Like,
yeah,
it's been me.
That
Look at me, I'm the Emperor.
He should have done that.
I tried to see how far you'd fall.
And you've not only become dark, you've also become stupid. I don't want you back anymore. Yeah, and it's like, okay, this could be Luke because nobody actually confirms his identity. And like, why aren't they always trying this at all times? No reason.
Palpatine literally has like an entire ceremony for him to show up casually inspecting the Death Star.
Yeah, and that made sense. But no,
exactly.
Creamy Sheaf supposedly wants to be alone and not disturbed, and I don't even want to call this a setup, but just remember it, shall you? Yeah, there's this stupid kid. I don't remember his name. I think
because they
Norris.
were kids.
Norris?
Yeah,
Norris. Yeah, that fucker who's like constantly back talking, and he never verbally affirms any orders he's given, and Brackus just lets him go. Man, Brackus he's really a menace. I'm terrified right now.
Well, he's handsome, so.
He's handsome, so he's not a menace. He's like the reverse of Darth Vader because.
Yeah, like if you, it's the same when we saw like what the training at the Shadow Academy was, and they don't get tortured there. I'm like, I get that this is a young reader thing, and you don't want to like show violence, but if you want to commit to presenting the dark side, we know that they just are gonna torture you. So
You just
either you
kind
don't do
of
it,
do it off page, like
either you don't show it,
Han getting tortured in
or
Empire Strikes Back,
yeah,
or Leia getting tortured in A New Hope. It's happened before.
yep. But oh well. Yeah, that's a thing. And then Brekka starts crying because his accomplishments mean nothing to Creamy Chief, and now he loses all authority the minute he arrives, which I mean, yeah, that's kind of how things work. If you're in an empire, like there is an emperor. So, I don't know what to tell you, man. You're kind of a nothing.
Yep.
That was always gonna happen. I don't get, like, if you are under the impression that the emperor actually still exists, then yes, this is the natural conclusion of all your actions at some point. Yeah, chapter 9. Yeah, Norris, he misbehaves. He calls Coral an old man.
How dare he?
He's ageist, and he doesn't get any consequences for it. I'm like, again, like,
This
why?
is literally the Empire.
Yeah, like, why do you show us the evil side if they don't behave in an evil way? They look like wimps. Like,
The albums.
like disobedient people get beaten the fuck up, and if you don't want to portray an adult beating a kid up, well, then don't show the scene. It's that easy. Like, just don't make it make no sense. You don't need to.
Well, he's got to do something really stupid in the next book.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Oh well, and that's all I had for this chapter, by the way. Chapter 10, Loie cuddles his sister and she's lonely. Chapter 11, the Shadow Academy sneaks onto Kashyyyk off screen. So you don't have to answer these pesky questions like how did they get there? Is there nobody there to defend themselves? Those things you kind of don't want to commit to.
Literally the Kenobi show.
Yeah, they are there because they're there, and that's it. They used something that really shouldn't exist. Quote, holographic costumes, which...
Oh yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, this kind of completely destroys the concept of stakes in your universe because, like, first of all, it requires quite a bit of talent to destroy the entire concept of stakes, but like literally everybody should do this at all times. Why didn't Luke just try to go into the Death Star in a holographic costume as Darth Vader? Like, why didn't nobody try that? Like, you might as well. People are gonna believe you, most of them at least. But yeah, and of course the guards on Kashyyyk are tired, so nobody notices. And there's no battle. You have to understand. There's no battle starting actually, because the guards are like sleepy. There you go. They go.
They don't
to
have a night shift, so
it's just, of course, yeah.
Like just one group of people the whole time.
Yeah, like one set of Wookiees guarding the place 24/7. Okay, they go to the computer factory, and they target the treehouse also where the kids are staying, and they know that they're at this specific treehouse because, and they target them with a fake distress call, like help us, like people are attacking. The kids, of course, tell nobody, like security, law enforcement, or whatever the fucking equivalent of these stupid tree furries are. Yeah, it's like this is supposedly the most important economical place on the entire planet, but like nobody knows and nobody's told except for these three kids, I guess. And yeah, another really stupid thing. So apparently Kashyyyk has satellites. And I don't know if I even understood how they work, but bear with me. So apparently the satellites, they send signals to the tower of the computer factory to activate the weapon systems.
Yes.
But
that was what it was.
That's it. I don't know. This sounds retarded as hell. Like, why not have a manual on button in the tower? Like, if for some reason you want to have your defense systems in your computer tower, I don't know why you would, but imagining you want to, like, who the fuck does that? But yeah,
just auto target the second it sees something.
Yeah, that's kind of how you would hope. This very
I would
important
like
tech
to add
place.
that I literally have a headache from this book right now.
Yeah.
Is the
I
score
wonder
going
why.
down for you?
Man, if this is the gospel we gotta spread, then I'm here for it, man. Like, people need to understand how shit this series is. Yeah, and of course these signals are not sent, or the tower doesn't receive them, whatever, I don't care. It doesn't work. That's the point. And now ties attack. And there's like nothing happening.
Bow ties.
Yeah. There's no manned starships. Nobody has noticed this.
No, they made it in. It's good.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Like, why is the factory not only important for the economy, but also essential to the defense of the entire planet, and it's not heavily guarded? How is that a thing?
Entire planet? No. Entire New Republic. Apparently.
Yeah, true. Apparently, according to, well, Kevin J. Anderson saying, "Trust me, bro," literally. Yeah, but that's it. Chapter 12.
No.
Oh,
we got a Jason joke. Idiot.
Okay.
Trying to
bring a bit of levity into this painful stream.
I don't know if this one might be worse than the other one, than the Jawa one.
That's tough, but we'll
Say
see.
it.
Do you know what sound whippets make when they kiss?
Oh, was it ow?
I remember this one.
It is
I
ow.
remember this one.
Yeah, because whippets they got the things on the mouth.
Can you imagine Jason and NJO didn't behave this way?
It's literally assassination.
You see, yes, it's a betrayal of his established character in Young Jedi Knights, and therefore New Jedi Order sucks, and darkness is correct.
Yeah. Oh well. Chapter 12. Garrowin. I think Garrowin was one of the Dathomirian waifus, whatever. She attacks Chewie and Jaina at the Shadow Chaser.
Wait, Chewie was here? I genuinely don't remember that Chewie
is here. I think. Yeah.
He's here. He's here.
He's here. He's the only one of the OG cast who's here.
Yeah, Han and Luke, they had to go on an adventure off screen, so
yeah, they had to go scouting.
Yes, that kind of happened.
Imagine whoever the fuck was the U.S. general just did the invasion of Sicily all on his own. Like, hey, let's look around, see what's going on there. Like, what the fuck is this, man?
It's a whippet.
Ew. Ouch.
See, they got the tusks.
Now I understand the joke, and it's still as unfunny as before. Thank God. Yeah, this fight is happening. Garrowin, thankfully, she hurls objects at them with the Force instead of just force choking them, because that would mean they die. And if they die, the rest of the plot can happen. So, that would be kind of awkward. So they have a chance to survive somehow. Oh yeah, also Garrowin can use Force Lightning.
Everyone can.
Everyone can. Jaina. Oh yeah, Jaina makes her believe that she gets chased. At some point she flies away, and Jaina uses like the Force to ruffle the leaves or something. And it like flusters her and she loses her balance. She smashes her head into a tree branch and then falls down onto Kashyyyk, and that's her death.
Damn.
Sure. That's another of these weird Kevin random moments of violence, like where it's actually like described. Yeah, she smashes her head onto the tree branch, like full force. It's like, damn, okay. Didn't need to know that.
That would literally kill a teenager.
Yeah. Well, it kills this woman, so.
We are so worried. I can't believe the amount of sadness that I feel for this poor kid who just died.
It's not a
Garrowin
kid.
was
Definitely
Garrowin
died.
is a kid.
Huh?
She's just a stupid Dathomir bitch.
Oh, sorry, I
She
thought
was
it
so
was Jaina.
interesting, though, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was in that sect of the Dathomir.
Yeah, she
That,
probably had
Oh,
big tits.
right now, I remember. Yeah.
I'm
That-
sure she had big tits. That's kind of sad.
Yeah, that is pretty sad, actually.
Yep.
What's that line from Princess Bride? There's a.
Oh, I don't know.
There's only so many
There were a lot
perfect
of
breasts in the world, and you're about to ruin one.
Yeah. Every
sounds like it.
sacrifice of a nice set of titties is sad and should be narrated. Chapter 13. The kids, Zack and Wondera go into the woods. Chapter 14. Creamy Chief still doesn't want to talk to Brekkus. Chapter 15. The Second Imperium had a, quote, blitzkrieg on Kashyyyk to have a, quote, total war soon. Kevin J. Anderson, let me speak for the entire German community. I do not like this cultural appropriation. And also, you're making this sound way cooler than it actually is. Like, no, this German is... Yeah, I guess. I mean, as we know from Swedish comics, Hitler is canon to the expanded universe. So
Yes, indeed.
and now we have
He is
the
canon.
concept of blitzkrieg, which, I mean, kind of, predetermines the existence of Hitler. Blitzkrieg. Yeah. Jaina and Chewie, they follow the baddies. Chapter 16. Everyone moves further into the forest. The atmosphere, I guess, is kind of eerie. Which was like the best scene from the book, I guess, which like, hey, this one passage of the woods sound kind of scary. Chapter 17, Chewie falls down. Chapter 18, Zack knows that they get chased by two people specifically, because he does. Wondera gets eaten, and not in the fun way. Chapter 19. Oh yeah, Zack says the following to Jaina, quote, "You have always underestimated my talent and denied me from fostering it. Nobody knew you were force sensitive, you stupid fucking retard." Zack tells them their plan to attack Yavin 4, which is very lucky, because imagine how awkward the next book would have been if they didn't know that.
You'd be like, over.
It's without the second R in her name, so
Ra.
Ra, like the Egyptian god, not Rar.
Egyptian god card.
Chapter 20, everyone goes. Chapter 21, so the Shadow Academy took the computer parts, and Creamy Chief orders the attack on Yavin 4. Supposedly Creamy Chief. Chapter 22, the New Republic helps clean up Kashyyyk with a couple of, quote, nearby soldiers. Thank God they weren't present at the attack, because, on their supposedly major computer factory. Because then, of course, as we know, the rest of the story couldn't happen. And that's the end.
This is where Sierra also decided to stay back because she pretends she had an arc.
Oh, yeah, something about...
Very, very important. About, like, staying home and...
yeah, maybe that was her arc, to be a stay-at-home wife and get kids.
That's based, at least.
At least...
Get bread.
Yeah, exactly. Pump out a lot of little computer factory workers, and you're good to go. And that's the book. That's Return of the Dark Knight, or whatever. Yeah. 0.1 out of 10. Sorry. Like, the thing is, there isn't even a lot of things to say in any
Nothing
way.
happens in this book.
Nothing happens, yeah. And literally the only theoretical point to the grander storyline, which is the stealing of those stupid computer chips, I mean, that kind of has its conclusion in the next book, so,
Yeah, I put 2 out of 10 here because I
Yeah,
said
well-
at least it doesn't make me want to die. But like knowing what happens
Mhm.
because of like the consequences of this book,
Yep.
might drop it to a 1.5. I don't know.
I understand. Hey, you reading through these books, you seem to have a bigger connection to your life and well-being than I have at this point. So I understand you're less nihilistic about it than I am. Yeah, fuck this book. Like nothing happens. The things that happen are shit.
Oh, I actually did my math wrong.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I posted my overall score
Uh-huh.
the other day for the first arc. And I put
Oh,
this as a 3 out of 10 instead of a 2 out of 10. Interesting.
so it's even lower.
Yeah. Yeah, it came out to like 2.56 or something overall.
We gotta lower those numbers. Those
Oh yeah,
are numbers. Yeah, and that's it. The conclusion, read Junior Jedi Knights, of course.
And, as always, read Junior
As always,
Jedi Knights.
that's the conclusion to all these books. Read Junior Jedi Knights. And yeah,
And you
so
have read them again, just reread them, and when you're done and you're still bored, go read Age of Victory.
I was about to say the same thing. Yeah.
if you feel like you need to read about Jason and Jaina, then
Read NJO.
And the Crystal Star, and the Crystal Star.
yeah, they're good actually in that book. Read that instead. That's still their best depiction so far, unless you want to count, I don't know, the Thrawn trilogy, which I guess they're perfectly characterized because they are not bored. But
They're inside Leia.
exactly, at least inside Leia they can't do any damage. So you know.
Yeah.
That-
Okay. I guess the Corellian trilogy had them pretty. They did useful things at least.
And we have author extraordinaire. We have the controller of the U.S. nuclear arms, whatever. We have Professor Kevin J. Anderson himself right here. Hello.
Hello there.
How are you doing?
Hello, Prof.
I hope you're not mad that we don't like your book. I hope that's okay.
It's fine.
It's
As
fine.
we know, apparently Kevin J. Anderson is very nice when it comes to people criticizing his work. But we know that from Matt Wilkins, so we actually don't know that for sure.
The one thing I will actually believe is that in private conversations about normal topics, he's probably a nice guy. I don't actually think I'm not sure if he's going to be nice if you really like criticize his books. I like considering that Dune fans hate him more, and the thing they probably hurled at him.
They're
I
probably
don't know
correct.
why they would hate him. I mean, he created the Duniverse.
That word is a crime, and it.
Yes.
The more I hear words like these, the less I am a free speech absolutist. Like people saying this should be in prison. Yeah.
Yes.
That's it. So let's get the next one over with. It's not like we're gonna speak a lot more about
Sure.
it. Jedi on the Siege. We have the cover. This is false advertising. And
I
you'll see
agree.
we have Luke. He looks fine. For some reason, Jason can't look normal. I don't know, something like there's a
Actually,
very
that
difference in how.
reminds me. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, like for some reason there's this significant difference in how these two look. It's always Jason and Jaina who have some off look to them. Like Tenel Carr looked very fine actually. Zach, I mean, I guess he looks well drawn, but I don't know,
They
some
always look much older, and they. Here's the really weird thing. I think in the deep core, some troll, Tidge, got his name.
Okay.
Managed to race swap Jason and Jaina on the Young Jedi Knight covers.
To make them like black or what?
Yes, he blackfaced them, and they didn't look that much different. It was
Yeah,
very disturbing,
it's weird, right?
Is it just
and
me,
it was a
or
very traumatic experience.
is it just me, or does Zack on here kind of look like Exakun?
Yeah,
He
Yeah,
looks
he does.
very much like Exakun.
he also reminds me of something else, but like I'm not quite sure what. But yeah, he does. He has this weird like grayish skin tone to him. Like I don't know if this is
Because he's evil.
True.
And you
Well,
said
Luke
Palpatine
looks
in the
like a
background.
video game character.
Yeah.
And you said Palpatine in the background is false advertising. I disagree. I mean, this is where we learn how he returned yet again.
That's true, I guess. So,
True.
oh well, we shall see. This is the most beautiful scene from this entire arc, which is the Praxium getting blown the fuck up. Sadly, it's still stupid how it gets blown up, but the fact that it gets blown up is, enough for
Progress, but not perfection.
now, at least.
Okay,
I like
the
that
other best part about this cover is the fact that Luke is wearing his Crystal Star outfit.
I guess. Hey, there you go.
Can you scroll up again, because that is amazing. It actually says "at last" the final confrontation.
It sounds like something people apparently have been very looking forward to. Like, yeah, sure, everyone was
You can also take it as "at last." It's finally over.
That's true. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Disney Star Wars at some point they started to like adopt some names and logos of EU things? Was Young Jedi Knights one of them?
Yes.
Young Jedi
They have Young
Adventures.
Jedi Adventures.
Oh yeah, I made a meme. It actually looks
they
like
stole
not
this-
like the title font doesn't look like this one. It
Yeah,
looks
yeah.
like the German
But
Young
they
Jedi
still
Knights.
took to the whole thing of the Young Jedi Adventures being between Star and Wars. I think.
Yeah.
But
Let me see if I still have the meme.
Pull it up.
For some reason, I'm not that mad about it anymore. I can't quite pinpoint why though. Maybe it's because Young Jedi Knights is like.
Oh no, sorry. They didn't seal it completely, but it's still in the it's Star Wars and then a big box.
Yeah, and that looks like
Whatever
a
it is.
German design for Young Jedi Knights. which was
Yeah,
weird.
I know what you mean. Yeah, they're like going upwards, like into this, like this thing. Yeah, I think it's like.
Yes, Fabi, Black, Jason, and Jaina. It was a
Of course,
very
that's
dramatic
the
show.
first time Fabi comments on anything. I think
No.
if you cherry pick certain things about this character from this story specifically, you can make a case on why Kaidos makes total sense. I'm kind
I like Dylan's answer. Like, there was so much they could have done with like him hating his parents because they treated him like shit as a kid.
And everybody like gaslit him into believing he's not a total cringe lord when he's telling these stupid jokes. His own brother tried to rizz up his girl, and he punished him by fucking his ex when he was dead. Oh, a lot of things you can unpack there, but yeah. New York Times bestselling authors of Darkest Night. Once again, of course, they've given up for some reason. I don't know why. The Jedi Academy trilogy advertisement, maybe.
I mean, you have to agree that Dark Knight Returns did revolutionize the genre. So
that's true. Dark Knight Returns did, in fact. We have this weird color thing going on here. I don't know what it means. I don't care. Jedi under siege. The Jedi are under siege, I guess. Yeah.
Is it even
is it actually a siege?
I guess
it's kind of more of a blitzkrieg.
I guess the German title is more appropriate. Just attack on Yavin 4.
Yeah.
Once the shield goes down, it's not really a siege anymore, is it?
And the shield.
No, it's not.
It's like one guy.
The siege is when you can't get in and you're trying to get in.
Yeah.
They're in there. They're very much in there.
Found the picture. I'm gonna post it. Wait.
Yeah, what can I say, man? This is. Oh yeah.
Sieged.
Siege.
Wait, shouldn't that be besieged?
Yeah, he probably means besieged, I guess.
Okay. Huh.
So yeah, I was kind of mad about
Legacy
this
of the Force tier.
Disney Star Wars taking from the EU. I'm kind of not mad about them taking from Young Jedi Knights because nothing of value was lost. That's just me though. I'm going into a weird trajectory, being more forgiving towards Disney and Filoni the more I read Kevin J. Anderson.
Yeah.
This can't be healthy. So, oh well.
It's not healthy.
No, but oh well. What can I do?
It kind of leads into this area we call delusion.
Emperor Creatine.
What is this picture?
I don't want to know.
Emperor Creatine.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh well, let's just get it over with.
I don't
Chapter
know what
1.
your problem is. This is such an action-packed finale.
Yeah, I remember all these
I
scenes.
can't believe that we are criticizing Kevin's masterpieces.
Guys,
It's the best
they're
after
kids,
lightsabers in
okay?
Shadow Academy because they were kids. And
Pico,
they thought of the Shadow Academy.
you must feel so vindicated, Pico. Like the more we go on. Like, yeah, damn right. I always knew.
I just got gaslit into how much I liked it.
Yeah, that can happen, you know. Ugh.
No wonder it took me 6 months to read these books.
Really, I thought they are very easily digestible. I don't know what you mean. Chapter 1.
Well, unfortunately, before we start chapter 1,
Yep.
I've been here for 1.5 hours,
Mhm.
and so I will now go to sleep because the last book bored me to death and gave me a headache.
I totally don't understand why you would though. That's I mean, this is as Noah said, it's action packed. It's great payoff for everything that's been built up in almost 1,000 pages. Fucking Christ. Yeah, no, thanks for staying on for so long. It was a pleasure. And have a nice evening.
Well, see you.
See ya.
See ya. Bye-bye.
But
Yeah. Chapter 1. It's actually the other Jason joke I wrote down because it was once again monumentally stupid. Quote, "What time is it when an Imperial walker walks onto your wrist chronometer?" The response is, "Time to buy a new wrist chronometer." Yep.
Yeah.
That's
It.
special thanks to the Son of Dune, who has given us, you know,
this, guys, I want you to keep this in mind. The guy who wrote this joke writes Dune.
but thankfully Dune is not a very sophisticated.
You know how every chapter in
universe.
the Dune novels also starts with like a historic quote or a philosophizing quote or something like that? Now I'm worried how he starts the books there. Does he start with jokes?
Like maybe he actually just translated one of those Jason jokes to like the Dune universe. That would be
wouldn't
funny.
it just be translating it back to our universe? Like this one would just be.
What's the
I'm gonna get a
difference
new
between a
watch.
duck, Paul Atreides at age 14?
Yeah. Yeah, if I will at some point get into Dune, and I will not waste a single moment on that. Jesus Christ.
Mhm.
Yeah, the Praxium has shields. I was thankful for it at that moment, and I very quickly learned why I shouldn't be. But wait for it. And yeah, I thought like the attack was gonna happen like halfway through the book or something. No, it happens like right now, basically. It's like, damn, okay, we're getting right into it, I guess. Chapter 2. Oh yeah, there's gonna be a quote war on two fronts. Once again, Kevin J. Anderson, as a speaker of the German community, don't appropriate my culture.
But it's not.
Whatever.
It's one front.
Yeah, but don't you realize that it sounds really cool to say that?
Oh, okay.
Also, usually, I think one two fronts is supposed to represent the guy who's surrounded and not the one who's doing the surrounding. But whatever, it's not that important. Yeah, and Breckus thinks that by beating Yavin 4, the quote rebels will dissolve and flee into all directions. I have no clue why he would think that, but he does.
Wow, he has like Darla intelligence levels right there.
Yeah, kind of.
I mean, no, actually, you know what? Darla was smarter in Darksaber.
At least she brought a whole fleet.
Yeah, she like.
And I think she never said the New Republic would die immediately. She was just like, "Hey, the Jedi are a threat if they regroup in like strength and stuff."
She was like, "I literally have nothing else to do, and I will try to do the most damage," which like is stupid but coherent. This just I'll fuck up a bunch of like forest dwellers, and that's how the New Republic's gonna fall apart.
But guys, what if this is a brilliant call? Like Breck is calling them the rebels still. What if this is just a brilliant callback to Dark Empire?
Maybe. Called Knights of Darkness in Swedish. I mean, coolest is still Return of the Dark Knight, of course, but
Knights? But there's only one of them.
So
There's only one Knight of Darkness.
No, there is the Darkest Knight, and the Knights of Darkness are the other ones.
Yeah, it's like the Knights of Ren, maybe, but there's only one title Ren.
The Knight of Darkness, Darkest.
Ren.
Exactly. There's a lot of Knights of Darkness, but only one can be the darkest of them all.
He's so dark, just like Jet.
Chapter 3. Yeah, so some contacts of the Shadow Academy told them exactly where the shield generator was. I was like, who exactly is that supposed to be? Because there's literally nobody ever frequenting the planet.
But remember, there are spies everywhere. We know that from the entire Bantam era.
Of course. Unless it's, on the enemy side, because then the rest of the plot couldn't happen. But yeah, apparently there's somebody who went there, saw where the shield generator is, and told it the Shadow Academy. Sure. Yeah, for some reason, okay, not only do they have a shield generator, but they immediately have a drawback, which makes no sense. For some reason, the shield generator is shit. Because because of the, quote, high Masashi trees, the shield actually doesn't quite reach the ground. So, in theory, aircraft can fly under the shield and is then within the protective bubble. That sounds very stupid. Like, why not have one? I don't know if this meant I think they had it in the trees or something. Hey, why not have it in the trees? And then another generator on the ground. Like, the Gungans got that right. For Christ's sakes, the Gungans are smarter than you. Don't you feel ashamed? I kind of feel bad for bashing George Lucas now. He actually made a faction that was smarter than this. But yeah. Yeah, for some reason, so there are TIEs now attacking. So they're there already. And they're like perfectly camouflaged. And they also have their engines muted, so they make no sound. I'm like, why isn't this literally every battle ever? You're making all these OP weapons, but I'm like, this should always be a thing at all times. But it's not. And yeah, one pilot, he manages to fly into the shield from underneath. And why doesn't he just bombard the academy now? He doesn't. And of course, the shield generator is totally unguarded. There's not even one person standing there. Because why would you? I mean, it's not really important. And then the guy goes up to the shield generator. He puts a bomb on it, and it gets destroyed. This is chapter 3, by the way.
Yeah.
Two chapters ago, we have established that this thing is now active.
The titular siege is now over. The shield is gone.
Exactly. Actually, now it's just. I don't want to say Blitzkrieg, but yeah. Hello. You're here for absolute fucking peak fiction. Chapter 4. Reyna is here. And he's a bit arrogant. He says yeah, I could fight alone. But once again, he points out problems correctly, as he always does, because as we know, Reyna still did nothing wrong, actually.
Please remember all of this once he turns into the main villain of a trilogy.
Wait, what?
Darkness.
Oh.
He gets brainwashed, it's fine. Yes.
Considering how I read the book, which is under a lot of pain and duress, yeah. It's the book reading is going longer than the stream. If you know you basically skip every other sentence, then you're gonna be finished with these books. But yeah, what can I say? Yeah, but he points out correct things like, hey, you were just kind of dicking around on Kashyyyk while I was here and trained, which is true. I mean, they did. And he's also like, why would we believe the words of some like traitor who might only lie to us so that we exhaust ourselves in panic? Like, yeah, I mean that's kind of true. But of course he's a retard and an idiot because he doesn't wear the Jedi Academy clothing. He has like his own clothes, which makes him basically Hitler. But yeah, there's a stupid quote like, sometimes the rift between friend and enemy is not as big as we think it is. A quote by Tion, which is in
There are heroes
relation
on
to
both
Zach.
sides.
I guess so, yeah. She says that in relation to Zach. I'm like, you know what, Tion? My friends usually don't try to get me to pick up an egg, which could kill me if I don't actually manage to do so. But thanks on your valuable insight on friendship, because famously Tion is the one who has a lot of friends. They try to call for help to Leia, who wants to send the quote promised backup. Why isn't the backup just here in the first place? Of course,
Maybe they are busy.
maybe they are, and of course,
Now with the galaxy at peace, with the Empire,
yeah,
the army just,
we of course need the rest of the plot to happen. So that's something I have to consider. And yeah, they of course can't call her because the enemies are, quote, interrupting their comm signal. Like, they act kind of shocked about that. It's like, that's kind of the most common Star Wars thing in existence. Of course, it only happens when it needs to, so the rest of the plot can happen. Yeah. Chapter 5. Norris, he's still being a disobedient shit, and Coral lets it happen. Like, this won't blow up in his face, I'm sure. And yeah, the Dark Jedi are now jumping off some like platform or some ship with a repulsor pack, so basically like a jetpack. Okay. Thankfully, once again, of course, there's no fleet here, so the rest of the plot can happen. Chapter 6. Jason will fly the lightning rod to try and get out of Yavin 4, so he can then call Leia. I was like, how are you gonna do that with the whole enemy fleet right here? Jaina will also go to the lightning rod. Tenelka and Lowy will go to that weird like battle platform that's in the sky to fight Tamith Kai for some reason. Like, where is everyone? Where's, first of all, in some of the past books, I don't know which one, we had a quote battle squadron apparently on Yavin 4. Where are they? And where are the masters and knights? Like what are they doing? Why
where's
are
Ingrid, where's Cam Solusa, where's Kip
Kip
Duran,
yeah.
where's Stream, where's Kirana T?
Where is literally everybody?
Yeah.
Like nobody's here. Why are the two teenagers fighting Tamith Kai? For what? Like they should get like fucked up and die, but they won't. Chapter 7. Yeah, Luke's child soldiers, they get shot at in their spaceships. Tenelka and Lowy, they even crash and have to climb up to the battle platform where Tamith Kai is at.
That part didn't really make any sense to me.
Yeah, because
how close to the ground is that thing?
And if it's very close to the ground, why even bother to have a platform in the first place?
Hey, just land.
Yeah, but don't you see that a battle platform is like new technology, maybe?
Oh.
So
okay.
Isn't that so interesting?
Sure.
You don't sound quite convinced. I don't know why. There's no reason for you to. But whatever.
The grappling hook. I know that. I remember that.
I remember that she has a grappling hook. Yeah, she has one arm. Yeah. But of course, she went through her arc why she doesn't want to have an arm, as we know. Chapter 8. Yeah, why the Shadow Academy doesn't bombard the Jedi to death is still beyond me, but it's not going to happen at any point. Yeah, remember those weird reptile Jedi from the first book who like ate chickens alive? They are back, and they spit with water. Like they spit water to distract the enemies. And then there's another lizard Jedi in the tree, and he like falls down onto them, and so they defeat them like that. And they they throw away their lightsabers because what possible use could they have in a fight? As they have told us, they are, quote, constructed pathetically and unimaginatively. Sure, whatever that means. I mean, it's a glowing stick, guys. Like, calm down.
Yeah, the only thing that matters with a lightsaber is how pretty they look, not the function or
exactly. And the fifis you put into it as you build it together. Tion apparently uses her students as bait, so they trap the enemies under like a floating piece of marble. Sure. Oh, there is. We have a lot of different species in the Star Wars universe, of course. And we literally have fucking Treebeard over here as a Jedi, but not as cool as Treebeard, actually. So it's an actual tree, and it collects power via photosynthesis, and and there's like an enemy there or something. And he uses one, like he manages to slash with his lightsaber once to like destroy some old tree and to defeat them. And to do that, to have one single slash of a lightsaber, it requires months worth of energy. And also afterwards, of course, time to recharge. And the Jedi has roots in the ground, so it can't move away until it has enough minerals again. Anything to add?
A reminder that the tree species that does exist in Star Wars, the Neti, like Tirasar from Republic and Legacy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and obviously, I think first, Dark Empire 2, Oud Benar, who's also in Tales of the Jedi. And you know what I found funny? Kevin goes through the effort, bring a goddamn 3 Jedi in this, but he doesn't connect it to Dark Empire 2. Because remember how in Dark Empire 2, Oud Benar dies, but there's like a little Benar baby? A baby tree growing?
Like Groot, I guess.
Yeah, essentially. And it's like, that would have been such an easy, like, hey, this is the same character.
Yeah, it would have been perfect time, honestly, to bring him back.
Yeah, I guess.
He'd just be Anakin's age.
Yeah. In my head, I'm just gonna accept this as headcanon. But it's so weird that Kevin, the master of continuity, wouldn't do this.
Yeah. But famously, of course, Kevin J. Anderson has started the expanded universe, so maybe it's
he started the expanded universe. He was the first person to ever connect the Thrawn trilogy and Dark Empire,
and he proved his talent again with the Dooniverse. And I'm just looking for excuses to say that stupid word as many times as possible.
Dooniverse.
The Dooniverse.
Not everything. Like, you don't have to make everything into a universe. That's actually fine.
Yeah, but money.
Money, of course. That's fair. Chapter 9. Quote: as long as the shields are inactive, they were vulnerable to air attacks. And, it'd be really awkward if those air attacks actually happened. So thank God that's not the case, because we need the rest of the plot to happen, which is kind of the justification for all these things happening here, actually, and that's sad. Yeah, and Jaina, she goes to the TIE fighter of the guy who bombed the shield generator. She shoots some TIE fighters down without really a lot of problems. And then she gets attacked, I guess. Chapter 10. Luke and Brekkus want to meet up. Brekkus is like booty calling Luke to him.
Mm-hmm. He is pretty handsome, so I hope it works.
Yeah. We want... I mean, Luke famously has no spouse right now, so hopefully finds love finally.
If she's in prison, it doesn't count. So
exactly, yeah. I mean, boys will be boys, right?
Exactly.
Chapter 11. Jason and Peckham call for help. Chapter 12. Zach believes that both Jaina and Jason are traitors and underestimated his potential. I'm gonna sound like a broken clock. First of all, nobody knew you had any potential, and why would they? Second of all, you refused any of their help. Fuck off. Yeah, then he and his cabal of idiots are summoning storms like the Night Sisters are, I guess, because that's something anybody can do. Reyna walks up to them. He tries to make a valiant last stand. I think it's like
a Giga Chad, by the way. Like a Giga Chad.
Like an actual good representation of what a Jedi is. Probably the only ones of the the students so far.
Knows he probably can't win, does it anyway.
Yeah.
Selflessly.
The thing is, he gets absolutely reamed with no resistance whatsoever. It's like, what exactly is Luke teaching these people? But of course, that's what's going to happen because Kevin J. Anderson, Luke trained him after all. And, well, that's just the logical conclusion of that. Chapter 13. Coral is very angry that Norris, the guy who proclaimed he wants to be a stormtrooper, to, quote, cause as much damage as possible, that this guy is actually not that honorable. And in a rare kind of moment of lucidity, kills him. The framing of this scene is like, oh, Jason was like nice to me and he's about to kill him and I don't want that to happen.
But what's dishonorable about shooting the guy, shooting the lightning rod?
Because he's, because I think the scene said like, oh, they're basically not gonna be able to participate in the fight anymore and you should go back to the objective, I guess. Although they can call for help. So, but
yeah. How do you know that though? If the ship hasn't exploded, anything can happen.
It's probably Cope because he wants to kill that little fucker, and also because we have to pretend that he had an arc. Because remember that one time when he opened the doors for them?
For some reason.
For some reason, yeah. Chapter 14. A guy named Orvac. I think Orvac was the guy who bombed the shield generator. He now wants to bomb the empty Jedi Academy. And as he's about to prepare the bomb, or I think the countdown is already going, he gets bitten by the fucking crystal snake and falls asleep. Do I have to say anything to that? I think that speaks for itself. Chapter 15. Tenel Scar, I'm going insane. Tenel Ka, she no-scopes a TIE bomber with her lightsaber and defeats Tamith Kai, a woman who, by the way, is capable of shooting lightning out of her hands, and she defeats her with Kung Fu. Yep. Chapter 16. The New Republic arrives, and the Shadow Academy also gets reinforcements. The New Republic is surprised that they get them because why would they use the ship parts that they've been stealing from under your nose for a while now to build ships? The New Republic is very, the concept of building ships to defend yourselves is very foreign to the New Republic, to be fair. So I understand how they're a bit confused. But yeah, that's what happens. Chapter 17, Luke, for some godforsaken reason, still believes that Brekkus is a good Samaritan in the making. And he defeats him, but Brekkus flies away in a jetpack. Yeah, they fly now, I guess.
There's a good Luke quote at the end where
Is that?
where Luke talks to himself and he's like, "Brachus, I failed you again," which would be a really good quote if it was in a better book.
Yeah, that could work.
Be a good character moment, but it doesn't make any sense here.
Yep. Yeah, for some reason he allows him to go away.
I failed to save you again, Sag.
Sad, very sad. Yeah. Chapter 18. Jaina mentions that the fleet of the Shadow Academy looks like it's been hastily built together. How would she even be able to see that? Like, are the screws a bit loose, or what's the? I don't know. But yeah, it doesn't look good, I guess. And yeah, now is the payoff to the last book, and oh boy. So these reinforcements, they can't actually get shot at by the New Republic, because the computers that they have, from the last book, like, make them out to be friendly ships towards the other New Republic computers that the New Republic itself has. So their computers forbid them. They make it technically impossible to shoot at the enemy because the computer says they aren't enemies.
Hey, remember like a few chapters ago when Jaina stole that TIE fighter and shot at the other TIE fighters? They were using the same computers as each other, right?
Almost like it would be very stupid to have those kinds of computers in your ships.
You think just like manually aiming yourself would do the trick?
You would think,
but no, it just doesn't allow you.
Nope. Like, I don't know. Imagine you're you're like a normal starship and you're chasing around an enemy, and that enemy is very close to like your capital ship, and you usually shoot twin lasers. Let's say one laser would hit your enemy, and one laser would be shot into the capital ship and do nothing. What is your computer gonna forbid you from shooting down the enemy because one of these shots would go into
too close?
It's too close. It's a friendly ship. You can't do it. Fucking Christ. Yeah, that's very stupid.
Oh, here's where Lando says the greatest line of all time. He says,
"Yeah,
this whole thing reminds me of the Battle of Tanab." Do you guys remember episode 6 when he said that exact same thing?
Oh,
yeah. I have seen that movie. In fact, that's cool.
It's continuity because he was there.
Yeah,
and
he was, and he comments on it again. So you get reminded of that. Yeah, Kevin J. Anderson, continuity for the lowest common denominator. But yeah, of course, what are we gonna do now? The computers are blocking us from actually attacking the enemies. Well, Jaina, mind you, not Admiral Akbar, Jaina, has the idea to, and you're not gonna believe this. This is kind of crazy, and it's a bit out there as a strategy. But hear me out. She has the idea of reprogramming their own computers so they can actually fire at the enemies.
What? Yeah, apparently there might be a failsafe that can be used by admirals of the New Republic, such as Admiral Akbar.
Yeah, I mean, he should know that. I mean, he defeated the Darksaber. He has done a lot of great things. Why doesn't he know that? But yeah, and look, not only is it stupid that the computers work that way, and that you can't fire at your friends just because the computer says so, but this thing is kind of like rendered useless if you can reprogram the computer anyway. Like, didn't the Shadow Academy know this? Like, you can just reprogram this, and it's kind of useless then. Like, that's it. That was the entire thing. That was, yeah. By the way, that was the entire thing. That's the payoff. They reprogrammed the ships, and that's it.
Now the previous book is useless. They just
now the entire previous
the raid on Kashyyyk that cost 2 very important members of the Shadow Academy. By the way.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was for nothing. Yeah, Lando Lando defeats the Imperial Star Destroyers, the reinforcements with torpedoes, because, yeah. Coral gets shot down, and he was kind of sad, because I'm really loyal to the Shadow Academy, but Jason was nice to me. Yeah. Chapter 19. Oh boy. Yeah, so the false advertisement thing. This book, or this series so far, kind of tried to convince you that Creamy Chief actually returned. And I thought that him actually returning would have been the worst thing to happen, but oh my god, I was wrong. Yeah. As we learn now, because Brekkus is kind of getting angry, Creamy Chief never actually returned. It was all BS from the start. It was 4 Imperial gods. Apparently, it was the 4 stormtroopers that were made into fake Imperial gods by Darla and Darksaber, who became an imposter of Palpatine, basically with videos of his speeches. The way they framed it is like nobody else has access to these speeches but them. It's like, weren't those public speeches? I would think, like, if you're gonna run a propaganda machine, you're probably gonna see Emperor Palpatine everywhere all the time. Isn't that kind of the point of propaganda?
That's the goal.
Yeah. Those were my inspiration, definitely. And if I remind them of you, then congratulations.
It also doesn't help that this book is draining.
Yeah. It's sad if you're like really right with all your complaints. That makes it so much sadder. Yeah, and for some reason they led the Second Imperium to ruin, which I don't understand. Like, what even? Like, they were like, "Oh yeah, you fool, you believed us from the start." It's like, okay, fair, but what was your actual goal? Wasn't your goal still to reestablish the new the Second Imperium as the new empire? But I guess I don't know, because the plan was like kind of shit. So I was like, are you making an intentionally stupid plan to destroy everyone? Why would you? But yeah,
I just learned, and it makes perfect sense that the J in Kevin J. Anderson stands for James, which means his name is Kevin James.
Kevin James. Yeah, I'm
like the most famous actor.
I'm still gonna just say Kevin Joke Anderson. It's a very retarded kids level joke, but
I also learned, he's using and abusing my name. Like, he publishes books under the name Gabriel Mester.
Oh no, his poor wife.
Her name is Mo Esther.
Yeah, but I mean, it sounds...
he changed.
But yeah, Gabriel, man, there you go. How does it feel to be so closely connected to Kevin J. Anderson now?
It's disgusting.
I understand. Yeah, and Brekkus kills 3 out of 4 of them, and the one guy, like one of the guards, he runs away, and he escapes in, I think, even Brekkus' ship himself. And Brekkus is trying to get to him. He's not fast enough. And in a moment of, which I can only describe as...
Can we cut to the Phantom Menace Qui-Gon Obi-Wan running scene?
Maybe.
Remember that?
Do you remember the edit where, like, in the battle against Darth Maul, where Obi-Wan's like using force speed and he's running into the hole? That was famously funny. Yeah, that made more sense. But yeah, in a scene which I could only describe as him laughing in my face and telling me, yeah, this isn't how Star Wars works and it's stupid, but I write for Star Wars officially, so suck it, is Brekkus saying, quote, "If only I could use the Force to make him stand still and follow my command." Which is literally what the Force enables you to do.
But have you considered that Brachus sucks ass?
He does. That's true. I have.
But he is handsome, at least. Look at that.
True, and he has pictures of the shards of Alderaan in his office, which is kind of funny. There. Look at this fine specimen. Being an uninteresting character since day one. Yeah. I was like, is this guy trolling me? Like, this is literally what the Force can do. I don't understand what the problem here was. But yeah. And then the guy flies away. Brachus stays behind. The Shadow Academy, of course, has the bombs there that were always a threat to it. And the Imperial Guard detonates them, and Brachus is on there, and he dies. And that's
it was the self-destruct.
That is the end of the character arc of Brachus.
Why does the Shadow Academy have a self-destruct button?
Because
in case of an emergency?
I think it was like, in case Brachus were to, ever go rogue or something, I guess.
How does blowing up the Shadow Academy stop that?
Because then he's dead.
But what if he goes rogue and leaves?
That would be awkward. But thankfully that never happened, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie and pretend that I ever expected Brachus to have like a good character arc. But man, even that was like kind of disappointing. Like, okay. His thing was Luke being like, hey, please come back. He's like, no, I'm evil. And then he dies. Okay. Yeah. Chapter 20. Zach is sad because Brachus, quote, with his beautiful face, and also Peckham, probably, are dead. And the twins won't forgive him. Like, he knows that they won't forgive me, which, of course, they shouldn't. He is evil. That makes him sad. Like, oh no, I'm kind of evil. And his grand motivation is to, quote, be strong. With a K, of course.
Yeah, he had a great reason. He wanted to be strong. And
yeah, but
that's why he did all this.
But that motivation has been for naught.
Damn.
Yeah. Chapter 21. Rey now helps the wounded in what's probably the most the best character moment in the entire series.
As always, Reynar the only good character.
Yes, exactly. Chapter 22. So Jaina wants to talk Zach out of evil, and Luke lets her, which he shouldn't. So they just start fighting, and Luke's just like watching, like a psychopath. Why do you need to portray him horribly? I don't understand. Like, I like Luke Skywalker. I want to like him. Why do you do this? Yeah. Oh yeah, there's this brief moment where Jaina thinks, Jason must be heavily wounded if his ship crashed, but she wastes time on Zach instead. Like, good. Yeah, I was like, good priorities, and also I understand Kaidus now.
He thinks that he'll be fine. Don't worry, it's good.
Yeah, I mean, if he crashed and he has third-degree burns and a chopped off leg or something, he's gonna be fine. Chapter 23. Orvak, the bomber guy, he wakes up next to the bomb in the Praxium. Chapter 24. Zach saves everyone from the bomb. Of course, he didn't do the easy thing, which is like, hey, guys, there's a bomb. He instead had to fight to show that he's still an evil. Yep. Chapter 25. Coral lives in the jungle again. Like, he crashed onto Yavin 4. and he just returns to live in the jungle. Like, he should be in prison, of course.
No, that's fine.
It's fine. He's not going to do anything for real this time.
He redeemed himself when he shot down Norris.
Yeah. Now
because
everything's
Norris
okay.
was doing his job that he was kidnapped for.
I really hate how the concept of redemption was totally misunderstood in the EU. Like, the fact that Luke managed to help redeem Vader, that doesn't mean if Vader were to survive, that he wouldn't be in prison for life. Like, he would be lucky if he didn't get the death penalty, and Luke might be able to be at least like, hey, let him be in prison for life. Redemption does not mean no consequences, okay? It's like a spiritual thing. but you're still gotta be in prison, even if you're redeemed. That's kind of how it works. But yeah, I think these authors for some reason think that redemption is like a literal physical thing in which, like, oh yeah, you've done horrible crimes, but Luke forgave Vader, so goodbye.
So
I guess that's better
okay.
than Troy Denning, who doesn't believe in redemption at all.
I guess it's two sides of an extreme. Like, the one guy thinking redemption is literally you can rape my daughter and I will forgive you because of Darth Vader. And the other one, yeah, like, let's just murder everyone, I guess. But yeah, chapter 26. Luke will try to convert as many Dark Jedi as possible, and the rest, the way he says it, like, oh, I'm going to have to speak to Leia about it, implies that he wants to imprison them otherwise, which would be
They will
sensible.
probably be executed.
Or that. You know, fair enough. They should. Lando invites Tenel Ka to also go to the Gemdiver station because she missed it last time.
Now she has a chance to get kidnapped.
There are Bacta tanks there, apparently. Even though Bacta is supposed to be like this very finite resource that's supposed to be rationed and not used for civilians.
Yeah,
like gem divers. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
he has it. He has it.
It's totally fine. I mean, he
has quantum armor, right? So,
and he sells it to the enemy. Yeah, and yeah. Also, Tenel Ka said that Gemdiver Station is boring, so I'm not sure why she would go now. But oh yeah, and then they made that. Okay, please, Pico, tell us the stupid Tenel Ka joke that.
Okay, so Tenel Ka ends this first arc with a little joke, because get it? Because she was the one that doesn't understand jokes, so it's funny to have her say the last thing. So yeah. She says, perhaps we better leave soon. We do not want all the injured students to come away with us and leave Master Skywalker here alone. And then Jason says, what do you mean? Why would we worry about that? And then Tenel Ka goes, because a Jedi Master must have patience. So good job, Jason. You're teaching her puns, the lowest level of comedy.
Yep. And I kind of appreciate the implicit humor of the German authors who just literally translated this joke word for word, even though it doesn't make sense in German because
it's a pun and play on words.
It's a pun that requires two words to mean the same thing, like to mean a different thing but sound the same. That's not the case in German, but they were like, okay, fuck it, I don't care.
This is the last book, at least in this story arc.
Yeah, we're like almost halfway done. Isn't that great? Because yeah, that's it. That's the book.
Woo.
Reminder: people usually say, "Oh, if you want to read New Jedi Order, you have to read at least these first 6 books."
Don't, please, for the love of God. I mean, nobody here who will ever listen to this hasn't read NJO, but please, don't ever do that.
But it's so important. Like, imagine reading New Jedi Order and you don't know who Brakiss was.
Yeah, that character who nobody cares about and who didn't do anything of significance. Of course, the conclusion once again is please read Jedi Knights. Yeah. What do we say, guys? Well, how was this an entire arc? We finished an arc now, so.
Well, you should say the book first, and then you should calculate your actual score. Let's.
Oh yeah, okay. I'd have to look up what my other scores were. Yeah, this one I gave it a 0.2 out of 10 because Reyna was a nice guy.
Yeah, Reyna, let's go.
So that gave it that little, bump upwards.
I liked Reyna the most when he had his gay relationship with Darla's secretary.
What?
You will get to it.
I don't think I will, honestly. The more I hear about it, the less the likelihood is.
It's way later in Fate of the Jedi. He has a nice redemption arc until Denning ruins it again.
He has a nice redemption arc by what? By becoming gay?
I don't think it's even implied that he's gay, but it just seems that way. Because he's like recovering from like bad shit from darkness like 10 years later, and he's like every day he's sitting on the steps to the Jedi Temple and he's having like lunch with like Darla's secretary, and they're just hanging out. And I don't think this was supposed to come across as gay, but it seems gay.
Yeah, I won't mind Troy Denning if he ruins that part of it at least. But yeah, Reyna doesn't deserve anything bad happening to him. But yeah, Pico, out of 10, what did you give this one?
I gave it a 3 originally, but that's because I read it like really fast and I was in a daze, and I dropped it to a 2 just now. So overall, we got a whopping 2.25 from me for this whole arc. Some really good stuff.
Yeah, I understand. I have to think about it actually. Like the first book, I didn't give a ranking when I read it. I only gave a ranking when we did the actual stream. I think I gave it a 1.5 or something. Then book 2 was, what was book 2 again? Was that Shadow Academy?
Yes, it was. That was the first 0.1 meme.
Was it? I think it was the Lost Ones. I'm not sure anymore.
Oh,
I think it might have been. Wait, Shadow Academy. I'm gonna look at. Maybe I gave that one a quote ranking immediately. Shadow. Yeah, where is it? No, the Lost Ones, not the Lost Ones. Here, chapter. Oh yeah, 0.5 to 1 out of 0.5 to 1 out of 10 exactly. So yeah, 0.5 probably.
plus 0.5. Okay.
0.5. Then the Lost Ones was a 0.1.
Yep. Okay.
Lightsabers was.
I think I talked you up to a 3.5.
3.5. Yeah, I think that's correct.
Mhm.
Then
and 0.1, 0.2, right?
0.1 and 0.2. That's 5.9 and 5.9. That's
less than 1 out of 10.
It's 0.983333 eternity. Yeah, this book is this book series so far is less than 1 out of 10, and I stand by that. This is, I don't know, man. I can't understand how this became a thing, like this book series. There were people, like there were multiple like layers of cooperation who went through this book and were like, yeah, we can publish this. And nobody had a problem, apparently, because it would have never released that way, I guess.
Yeah, but have you considered that it's for kids?
Kevin is an award-winning science fiction author. One of the most respected authors of the 90s.
Which, I mean, it's the 90s, yeah, so
he was so talented and successful, he got control over the Duniverse.
The Duniverse? I mean, yeah, he made a bunch of money, probably. He's continuing to make a bunch of money.
Yep. Dancing on corpses.
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, he won. He made shit, and he made money off of it. Good on him, man.
Everything comes up, Kevin.
Yeah. It all leads back to him. Yeah, I have no words. I have no more words. This is it. Please never ever read this. Just period. Not even before NJ or whatever. Just don't read it.
But aren't you hyped? Finally, we get to the Diversity Alliance arc, which
You
is
get to fight
5
racism.
books.
Yes. Actually, fight for racism.
Exactly, we're gonna fight these goddamn aliens.
That could be kind of funny. I like that part from the Corellian trilogy where the racist was kind of correct. So, yeah, sure.
And you're gonna meet Boba Fett's daughter.
I will have to look at all these scenes through the lens of no, that's actually supposed to be Boba Fett. Like, sorry, I won't give Kevin the
ABG Pena retcon.
The ABG Pena retcon. Yeah, I won't. Sorry, Kevin, you do not deserve that grace, especially because he wanted this to be Boba Fett, right? So
yeah. So Pena disrespecting Kevin J. Anderson. Just incredible.
Yeah. And I guess we have to defend Pena on this because it being his daughter is stupid, but it makes more sense than I assume Boba Fett having his ass handed to him
by
a
Zach.
bunch of kids. Yeah.
Yes, I think from what I remember, Zach is correcting him on like, you can't do this and that, Boba. That's not part of the bounty hunter code. Or maybe it was vice versa, and Boba is teaching him, but it was something stupid like that.
Yeah, of course it would be, because what else would there be?
I remember.
There's nothing.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
I remember a scene where Boba's like, Dengar is good people, because Zach was following Dengar, and then he was like, I was following him, and Boba was like, yeah, he's good. Do that.
Yeah, because Boba and Dengar are best friends, except that kind of gets forgotten in the Denningverse as well.
Dengar is around in the Denningverse.
No, he's not. That's the thing.
Oh, okay.
But they're also not friends from Dark Empire onwards, aren't they? Or do they patch up?
I guess not. I guess Dengar was just like, goddamn Boba, that was the last time.
Yeah, I like Dengar kind of before you told me this, and now I'm sad.
No, it's fine. Dengar is always based.
Yeah, but Zach is following him. Can't be that based.
No, I mean literally following him.
Oh, okay.
Tracking him.
I thought like he was his apprentice. Okay, I guess
No, Zach becomes Boba's apprentice, aka Boba's daughter's apprentice.
Yeah. The conclusion to this is fuck Star Wars.
Yeah.
There's nothing to remember about Book 6, Doogie, and man, Book 7, I haven't even started. Like that'll be painful, man.
I know this is gonna sound like a shock, but it's not very good.
What? I can't believe
it's Shards of Alderaan, guys. It has such an awesome plot. It's the kids wanting to get like the perfect birthday present for their mom, which is of course the dirty rubble from her destroyed homeland.
That's so like even all lesser versions of that kind of gift, like
how about hey, we're gonna go and buy some Alderanian wine. Like even that would be kind of tasteless.
That would be very weird, but it was like okay, maybe. Like it was the wine that she always praised a lot, and there's some like vineyard
somewhere.
Yeah, whatever. But like an actual.
But it's like no, here's some rubble.
An actual piece of like rubble.
You know what? Should I spoil what exactly it is? I think I did already, but it's not just rubble or dirt. It's a part of the planet core.
Yeah, so it's like metallic. It's like a giant chunk of metal.
Because that's like so much more impactful, I guess.
Impactful. The heart of the planet. This is the land you rule over. This little piece of shit right here in my hand.
It's like basically also.
That's what you are the princess of.
Hey, by the way, it's kind of your fault that you fucked the planet up. There you go.
Here, Bail Organa's DNS is forever burned into this shit.
Imagine it was like an actual shard of her, of her former palace or something, of like her.
They collect some like rubber and dust, and then they say, "Here, mom, there you go. We finished the remains of Bail Organa."
The ashes of your parents, and this is your aunt, and this is your uncle. this used to be your bedroom.
Oh man.
Maybe they can take a bunch of rubble and rebuild her palace or something. And it's like it looks very shit. So
We
it's
build a
obvious, like,
house out of the
yeah,
remains
they
of
just build a
Alderaan.
house, like a Minecraft house. Here, Mom, you can live in Alderaan now. Yeah, what a bunch of psychos. Anyway, there's really nothing more to say. Next time we will stream, so we can't do next Sunday. Pico, you'll be busy, and I'll also be busy, and
Yeah, I will be getting drunk in the name of Ireland.
which is a lot more productive than whatever else we would do here. So do that. Make your possible Irish ancestors proud.
No, I'm not.
Whatever, plausible deniability. But yeah, we can't do the 17th and 24th. I have no time, so March 31st should be the next stream, and yeah, it'll probably only be book 7. I don't expect to.
You gotta hurry
Maybe
up,
two.
man. This
Maybe
is the
two.
best story arc.
Yeah, but like I'll have exams, so that's a thing. But we shall see. Maybe I'll be able to do more. But yeah, don't count on it. And oh well, I would lie if I were to say it was fun, but it was enlightening, the stream. So thanks for everybody who's been listening, and have a nice day. See ya.